Hey everybody, I'm Alex P. Taylor.
I'm Meredith Kropik.
And you're listening to the second episode of Realitypus.
Right?
Are you ready for this?
I was born ready, baby.
Realitypus is your middle name?
Puss is my middle name.
How's your puss doing today?
You know, it's a little hot and humid, but
Well,
she feels nice.
listen.
She's excited. She's rearing to go.
We're happy about that, and all the pusses in the world, and we have these two pusses here right now. So
This puss came to the right place,
yeah,
I feel.
two pusses pull up to a bar, and I guess that's a joke for later. But listen, we are so
You couldn't
excited.
think of a punchline, and you know it. Anyway.
Listen, we are so excited to be back at the Goodwin Hotel today. Once a landmark 19th century residential building, the Goodwin uniquely fuses the history of Connecticut's capital city with contemporary style. More than a boutique luxury Hartford hotel, the Goodwin is a cultural experience that combines 19th century elegance, modern comforts, and personalized hospitality. We want to say thank you again. This is back where it all started.
So sweet.
Yeah.
They're so good to us. I don't really know why. Maybe you, but
listen, at
very
the end of the
lovely.
Day, it's a wonderful hotel. It's beautiful.
It is.
The library alcove is stunning, and we're really happy to be here with this wonderful backdrop. The swinging lady.
Yeah, I have stayed here like by choice, but also in a pinch, and every time forget my worries. Why don't I?
Exactly.
Well curated.
Yeah. Well, we have a really exciting episode today for our second episode, our sophomore episode. We have a very special guest, which we're going to bring on in just about a minute through our Zoom that we did with him earlier. Are you ready to announce his name?
Are you giving me the honors?
Listen, I'm passing it over.
Okay, well, as I know him, it's Captain Care Bear, a.k.a. Captain Kerry from your season of Below Deck.
A.k.a. Captain Keza, as we found out. Yes, and we want to say thank you so much to Captain Kerry for graciously being our second official guest on the show, or actually our first official guest. Oh my God. For episode 2, there's no fixing. It's all done. But anyway, I want to say, Captain Kerry, it was a pleasure meeting you on the boat. It was a pleasure talking to you last week, and we're super excited. Let's cue this up. Colt, can you cue it up for us? Hey everybody, I'm Alex P. Taylor.
And I'm Meredith Kropik.
And you are listening to the second episode of Realitypus. We have a very special guest on today. I met him on a Italian super yacht in Grenada.
No big deal.
Come on, it happens every day, right? And this was an opportunity and an experience of a lifetime. It brings me great joy and such an honor to introduce you to our captain, Captain Kerry. Hello.
G'day, Alex. G'day, Meredith. How you both doing?
Great. We're so excited to have you on. I am just meeting you, so this is the best day of my life.
Yeah. Right?
Mine too. Mine too.
No pressure.
No pressure, right? Honestly, I look back at the experience that I had. I had always kind of thought about being on reality television and what would that be like? What would it feel like? And, it came true for me. It was like, wow, what an experience. I'm thinking back to that first day when we walked up on the boat and we're shaking everybody's hands going down the line. And what a feeling that was to all of a sudden see the cameras and to see everything that you're seeing, just, not from a TV perspective, but a real life perspective. I guess my first question, Captain Kerry, is did you ever anticipate or ever aspire to think that you would be on TV one day or be on a reality TV show?
Mate, my father always said I had a face for radio.
That's my joke.
but then the problem was you can't subtitle radio, so I chose TV.
I love that. I love it. And what do you feel like is the experience of being a captain on a TV show?
Yeah, so to kind of go further on the last question, being in any form of media was never on my radar. It was never anything I aspired to. reality TV or anything like that. It was nothing I never even, and in my wildest dreams, thought about it, or nor did I try to get there. It just, it fell on my lap. And
lucky.
Yeah, right. Like I mean, an actor's got to like learn lines. I've just got to be myself, or sometimes be less than myself.
Ooh, I need to work on that probably.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I appreciate that answer. And it definitely, for me, it was always something I'd seen, MTV's The Real World. And that was like when I was growing up, and I always wondered what it would be like to be followed around with cameras. And like I said, that day, that all happened, and it was meeting everybody at the same time. So it was just such a cool process that I went through. So thank you again for making that such a special experience for all of us. Thank you.
I mean, not me, but watching it was a special, delicious experience. Well, I got to tell you, as a viewer, when a new captain was announced, I was like, I love my Sandy, I love my Glenn, I love my Lee. I don't know about this one. But over the course of the season, I think you're lovely. I love how, I mean, you just seem like a nice guy. I was telling Alex, I knew you would be prompt to this Zoom somehow. I was like, I would be shocked if he was more than 2 minutes late. And I was right. You owe me a Coke. But I think as a captain, though, too, you were like very hands-on and willing to get your hands dirty and lead by example, but also very clear and communicative in your management style. And just like, I love all the captains, but I think like professionally, I would like to work for you. Not that I have a future in being a nice, like attentive stew or doing manual labor, but that was my take. So for what it's worth, I thought you came off very well. And I'm in. You got me. I'm sold.
I really appreciate that. The Below Deck Adventure wasn't watched as much as the main show.
Adventure.
Yes. Thanks for Watch What Crappens. Those guys made the adventure line famous. So so for a lot of people, it was the first time seeing me in the Below Deck franchise, and being the rebound.
Yeah, you're the breakup rebound.
I was kind of glad Sandy came in for half a season, so she was the rebound. So it gave me a little less shock for the Lee fans out there, and I get it. I mean, you get used to seeing someone on a show. That's who you want on there, and we've all seen like different sitcoms, and they change the main character, and it's not the same anymore.
Yeah. Well, you got your own je ne sais quoi.
Yeah.
But we I just do what I do, and I find that I knew Lee from before the show, and I didn't watch much of the show at all because I didn't want it to affect how I did my job. Matter of fact, the first time I watched we're filming Below Deck Adventure, and we had a COVID lockdown, and I watched Med while I'm filming Below Deck Adventure.
Wow.
Nice.
See, that's amazing. I'll tell you from my experience when I came on. Again, I thought you were super kind. I loved when we had our conversation out on the boat in the morning, the next day after the first day.
Don't call it a boat.
Super yacht. Sorry.
There you go.
So when we were out there and we were talking about the jobs that we do, and if you do something you love, it doesn't feel like work. And that was like one of the things that I took away. And then, we got to go and kind of check out tell me, what do you call like the engine room, or like where you have the steering wheel? What's that?
Right, still. Yeah. So it has different.
The bridge.
The bridge. Yep. The bridge, the helm, but that's the bridge is what we normally call it. Yes.
I love it.
Someone pays attention.
Yes. Well, when we were on that bridge that day, and it was you and I and taking pictures. It was just so much fun to get to talk to you personally. And I think when I got to watch it back on TV, which was just wild, going to see all of the things that led up to when we got there, it was so cool because I saw you kind of helping out more and doing all the things like, so it just affirmed my first impression of you was that. And I think as well for me, I didn't watch any of the episodes before I went on, so I didn't know who anybody was. And that to me was refreshing because it became more of a real experience for me than to like have preconceived notions about people, right?
Yeah, and even for me, like I didn't watch the previous season because there was some returning crew, and I didn't want to get
biased.
Yeah, we don't get biased, and I want to give everyone an opportunity for a clean slate. I saw that Fraser was getting some curry, and so was Ben. Before I joined the boat, before they even knew I was coming, I reached out to them both and just said, "Hey, man, everything's good. Don't listen to what people are saying about you." So I did a little bit of that before I came in, as they were the two returning guys. But that's a big part of the show is they want to see our relationships develop in front of the camera. So, even like between the seasons, I'm assuming who's going to come back, and I don't spend a lot of time with them because I want the viewers to see our friendship grow, and it's kind of cool.
I think for me too, I will say this is that what I appreciate the most about the experience that I had was that there were actual real life connections made with people after we left the boat. That's huge to me because I'm all about people. I'm all about making those connections. And I think one of like the fun things about, well, here's a flip side of reality TV actually, is that we ended off, after the show, I think it's people view people as characters sometimes, right? Instead of seeing as real people. And so I always tell people, I'm like, you only get to see a certain amount of time with people that are on TV shows. And I think what I know about everybody from the boat is different maybe from what people just get to watch sometimes. Because it's real people, and people will ask, is it real? And yeah, it's super real. Like this is super real, So that's just my kind of vibe and impression of everything.
He got his octopus nachos at the end of the day.
Yes, he did.
This was also our Christmas coat, my Christmas coat that I wore at dinner together, which was, pretty wild and crazy. What did you think about when we were like, hey, we want to celebrate Christmas and New Year's Eve on the boat? What did you think about Christmas in the Caribbean? Caribbean. How about that?
The Caribbean. That's it, mate. The Caribbean. You know what? I'd already beaten you to it, mate. I did it in a So in Australia, on the Great Barrier.
I love that.
So when I heard about it, it took me back to when I was a younger captain. I actually had some locks of hair. I think it was blonde, sunbleached,
frosted tips.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, scroll through my Instagram, you'll find the photo of me.
I will.
And Fraser absolutely is frothing over it.
Oh God!
But anyway, it was Christmas, but in Australia, right? So it's the summer.
Oh wow!
And I was running a dive boat on the Great Barrier Reef. So we had Christmas on the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh wow!
And it was like an orphan's Christmas. So we had some Europeans and some Americans over there. So we had I can't remember where the Americans were from, but we had some Germans and some people from, it could have been Netherlands even, and people were just sad, the ones for the colder climates. They're like, this is really Christmas. I'm like, what are you talking about? We're the Great Barrier Reef. It's dead calm. We're gonna go snorkeling. We're gonna go diving. I love this platform in the water. So we're sitting in chairs in the water. We're having lobster and fish, the whole deal. But mate, when that was your request, I think it was the most fun request, the most fun theme we had, and not just the theme, mate. Yourself and the guests that you brought with you, the energy you guys brought to the boat, we needed it because we just had our asses handed to us earlier on previous charters, and having you guys come on, it was a perfect time. It really lifted our spirits.
I really appreciate that because I noticed that too. Like everybody just seemed really happy. And I think, happy attracts happy. So that was like perfect for me. One of the things I've noticed is like after the show is the kind of got a lot of feedback saying we were such a kind and such a joyful group, which to me, I'm like perfect because there's so many which ways other episodes have gone. And I love the fact that that was our legacy that we had on the show, that, it was joy. And that,
yes.
And I will say too, like, again, as a viewer, you weren't boring though, like I'm sure
right.
Care Bear like loves a nice crew and everything, but sometimes they can be a little humdrum, but you guys like still partied and let it all out there, but you were like nice and kind and not like those guys.
Yeah, no, I feel like it was definitely a situation where we were genuinely having a good time. Like
Yes.
sitting down to dinner with you the first night for Christmas, doing the Feast of the Seven Fishes. That was like, that's a memory for me. It's one of those things that if you weren't on the boat with us and you weren't part of the crew or you weren't part of the charter itself, you wouldn't know that full experience. We had a once in a lifetime experience happen together. And I'm so grateful for that, really.
Aww.
No, I was just going to say, I just playing tennis full of compliments, man. Like you have no idea how much I appreciated having you guys on the boat. I needed it. I really needed it, man. You lift up my spirits a lot. And
it felt right. It felt right. That's what I would say.
All right, so we're back, and listen, this was really an amazing conversation with Captain Keza, and which we just so happened to learn was his nickname because I did not know this before, but we found out because it was in the corner.
Right, and we were like, do you want us to put something over this? Is this publishable knowledge?
Yeah, and so
he's all in on the Keza.
Yeah, we hope that you enjoyed because this is actually just part one of the Captain Kerry interview, which we are going to show in our next episode, the wrap up, which you don't want to miss. We are talking still about Below Deck today, and
it's where my little baby boy was born.
Yes,
after all.
But we're going to the Mediterranean now, so we're in Greece, right?
I thought you were promising me a ticket to the Mediterranean. Okay. Still good.
Yeah,
still fun.
Still good, but we're actually going.
Next time you have to choose your words more carefully.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to the Mediterranean now.
Yeah. Hey, Captain Sandy.
Captain Sandy. So we are going to do a little bit of Tentacle Talk right now. Are you ready for some Tenty Talk?
Always ready for Tenty.
Yeah. Okay. So these are the 8 tentacles that we talked about in episode 1 that we're going to use to break down each episode. Mm-hmm. So the first tentacle, notice we don't say arm anymore.
I know, I was just going to compliment you. I'm so proud.
So who is the villain of this season so far for Below Deck Med?
I say this with love and kindness, but Ian, the bosun.
Okay.
With all the blondish hair and lack of leadership.
Oh, dear. Well, he does. I have seen in the past couple of episodes him going to retreat into his cabin.
Right.
Which we don't know necessarily the full extent of true time.
Was it Aisha who gave him his own cabin? Of course she would do that.
What about tentacle number 2, which is who is the hero of Below Deck Med?
I can't say enough about my girl, Aisha.
Aisha.
I was in from the jump. Do I think we might now be maybe playing into the, it's so lovely that it's a thing? Perhaps.
Yeah.
No complaints. She's perfect. Don't change.
She is pretty amazing. All right, Tenty 3. Who's the MVP?
Gail.
I do.
Gail?
I like Gail. She's...
Bro.
Yeah.
First of all, we're 56 pounds. Gorge. We're doing man's work better than the men. And she's also having to pivot, like being undervalued and underrated.
Yeah.
And like knowing the right thing, but having to like make them think it's their idea.
Right.
She's chill when it comes to hooking up. I really, really, really want those two to get together. Who's the boy?
I know. I wonder, Nathan. I wonder if they are in fact still together, which we'll find out soon enough.
I like that for both of them.
There's only 2 charters left at this point. Tenty number.
Ooh, Tenty.
Yeah, Tenty. I feel like what was the funniest moment of the season so far?
I mean, I feel like I'm asking Aisha's D maybe a little too much, but that girl just gets me every time. When she like airplane fed the primary.
The lobster choo-choo train.
I cannot.
Yeah.
So cute though. Like Sandy said it so astutely. She was like, Aisha's good at her job on paper, but she has a je ne sais quoi that like she's just charming and emotionally intuitive and lovely.
Yeah, I read, I saw a YouTube video of her describing her sense of humor as that of a 12-year-old boy. She said that.
Right.
She has that kind of like pull my finger.
Which I love.
I'm gonna fart.
Yeah.
You know, that kind. She definitely, goes into that shtick a lot for sure.
She's perfect.
Let's move on to the most heinous or cringeworthy moment.
Okay, let me apologize in advance, but I don't think anyone would disagree. The last episode when they were bringing on a new stew.
Kerry.
And Joe, right?
Joe.
With the brows.
Joe.
We know turmoil will be had. Did we need the direct-to-camera brow up and down about it? Maybe we did.
He does have his signature eyebrows.
That was heinous.
I mean,
but maybe we needed it. I don't know.
Maybe everybody needed it.
It's not about the eyebrows. I have no complaints about a bushy brow.
Yeah.
This is Realitypus after all.
This is Realitypus. Welcome, everybody. So, Joe, and then how about who has showed the most change or growth?
With all due kindness, I want to answer your question, but what is foremost on my mind is who has not figured the laundry out yet.
Okay, so who has not changed?
Right. I see what I did there. I flipped the script.
Yeah, you flipped
I flipped the script.
So who is it?
It felt important to mention. Bree, girl, I can feel you trying. You're doing all of the right things, but like the clothing items are labeled. That should have been the most change.
Like from the beginning to the end.
Right. The season's not over.
You never know. Our last tentacle is going to be who from this season would you want to grab a drink with the most?
Still Chef Jono, which I think I just learned is short for Jonathan.
Jonathan, yeah, Captain
Which is
Sandy.
outlandish and not my favorite, but you do you, boo. You're perfect. Don't change.
Yeah. All right. Wow, this was such an amazing episode today. I mean, talking Below Deck Med. We had our first Tenty Talk. Our first Tenty Talk.
We need another logo.
We need another octopus?
Another puss?
No.
You can never have too many puss.
There's so many pussies to go around.
Pussy?
Poseidon. But we want to say thank you again to the Goodwin Hotel for being gracious enough for hosting this experience for us, and also to Jessica Kellogg for really, putting together a nice little surprise for us of these hand-knitted octopus.
I actually
the Realitypus octopus
cannot with how cute, and I need to figure out should I make him a brooch? Is it a him or a her?
You really could. You really could.
I'm inappropriately obsessed with how cute this is.
I think you could definitely pin that onto something.
Yeah.
Put a pin on it for sure. Put a puss on it. Sorry. Oh, and speaking of, wow. So that is
honestly.
What do you call that? What is it called?
It's an ear cuff.
Ear
Most
cuff.
iconic $8 and change I ever spent.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's really amazing. It looks so
my
good.
ear is falling off and turning green.
Oh,
I
no.
don't feel well right now. But
Okay.
you know what?
But we
Worth
made
the
it.
cause.
We made it
Worthy
past
cause.
episode 2. So stay tuned for our next episode, which is coming up with part 2 of Captain Kerry. And we'll have some other surprises as well. So stay tuned and tune in.